So in this video, I wanted to take a quick look at a very cool pen that we don't see here in the US very often, and that is the Hi-Tecpoint V10. This happens to be the grip version, but the point of it is that it's the V10 Tecpoint. So this is the same pen as the Pilot Hi-Tecpoint V5 and V7. Sometimes these are called the Pilot Precise. That's a very similar pen, although the Precise, I believe, is particularly the retractable, whereas the Tecpoint is the capped. But you see these two in the US all the time. The 0.5 millimeter, that's the V5, and the 0.7 millimeter V7. But you never really see this one, which is the V10. The naming is a little weird, right? If this is 1.0 and it's a 10, this would technically be a 50 millimeter or a 5 centimeter pen, which it's not. But just a quick digression there. This is the 1.0 millimeter version of the Hi-Tecpoint. This is a Japanese import. It's not a US model. So if you go down to your local Staples or whatever, this is not the one you're going to see. But it is quite cool, and you could buy these for like, I don't know, $4 or $5 off eBay, which is a lot for a single pen, but a pretty minor extravagance in the scheme of things. This is the grip version, so you see a modified clip. Looks like the same clip as the Zebra Sarasa SE, which is a little weird, and then a slightly more showy body, although it looks kind of old school compared to these cool block coloring with all the matte from the US versions. Opening up, we can see it uses a grip here, but then up front, everything is the same as the previous ones. So same cone here that looks like a feed. Needle tip is obviously larger, right? 1.0 millimeter versus 0.7. You can see the feed here. Here you can't with the grip. And then everything else is pretty much the same. This one is a little rounder, it's a little squared off, but more or less the same. And usually these pens, sometimes you could open these up, but they tend to be hard to open up. And this one you could actually replace the refill with it. You could see from the mark here, it's sort of a standard Pilot refill. So back to the V10, it doesn't seem to be refillable. No, I don't think so. So keep that in mind with that V10 grip. And even if you look inside here, I don't really see the contour of that standard Pilot refill. Looks a little bit different to me. It's really hard to tell, but it definitely doesn't seem to want to open. So maybe this one's not refillable. I'll get back to you on that. The clips, the caps are not really interchangeable. So definitely some changes there. But at the end of the day, if you like the Hi-Tecpoint or the Precise line of pens, you'll be happy to know that a 1.0 model is available. And it is a very big, very broad 1.0. So I wanted to just get into that because past that, this pen's not too extraordinary. You know, it's a solid writer, but there's not a whole lot to talk about. It's just kind of a big, bold office pen. So here we go. We have the Pilot Hi-Tecpoint. This is the 0.5 millimeter. Pilot And now moving on, we have the so you can see a marked difference between the three. This line is getting way more broad, way more wet. It's going to be hard to do much except for scribble on this because it's putting down so much ink. But it is fun to write with. It's very smooth. But you can see how it stays glossy and wet for some time. Maybe you could pick that up in the light. You could probably still see this one shining here, so it's, let me look at that. And this is on a Midori paper, so this is a somewhat absorbent cotton paper. This thing is still in the smudge territory. So not ideal for lefties, but a lot of fun to use. I like these 1.0mm roller balls. They're just a ton of fun to use, but again, not always super practical. One of the fun things with this one is you listen to it. And this is a nice writer of the 0.5mm. This is not something I have a problem with, but listen to it and hear how scratchy it sounds. Now let's go over to the 1.0mm. It is way quieter just because there's just so much ink being laid down. It's just like a buffer on that paper. Very different tone. I guess that's a subtle point, but somewhat interesting. So that about covers it. I really just wanted to show everyone the difference between the Hi-Tecpoint 0.5, 0.7, 1.0, and let everyone know that the Hi-Tecpoint V10 is a thing. So now you know. Thanks for watching.